Y'all, I may be a major bot, but I think I found my gun. Let me show you why the SVA has been so good to me recently. What is going on, everybody? I am PokePod. Welcome back to the COD Lab. Thank you, first and foremost, so much for checking out the TAC Eradicator video. That is actually between the Terra Lab stuff with Pokemon and now the COD Lab. That is my second most watched build video. So thank you guys so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. This week, I want to talk to you about the gun that I've been kind of falling back on whenever I've been playing Warzone. Again, I am a bot. I'm not good at the game, but I don't do too badly when I am using the SVA. Now, I've got a few different loadout options to run with this. I have a short range that you can use in both Warzone and multiplayer, and then I have a mid-range build that, there's one form of it for Warzone, one form of it for multiplayer. So I want to show you all three of those, and yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? So let's start off with the short range build. Again, this one can be used both multiplayer and Warzone, and the biggest reason that we can use it in both is the barrel right here, the NT Quietus suppressed barrel. It has an integrated suppressor, so you don't need to worry about using up an attachment slot for it. You do lose quite a bit of range using this. However, your movement speed, your handling will all go up with it. So this is kind of the main kind of bread and butter of this gun. Next, you'll want to use the Corvus PEQ Beam 5. This is a laser. It is visible to the enemy, so that is kind of a drawback, but this will help a lot with your hip fire and tac stance accuracies. This is actually a really good tac stance gun. Also, just helps with your recoil control in general. I still don't understand why some will, show that it helps or hurts in other areas, but when you go here, it doesn't tell you. It's kind of weird, but that's COD. Next up, we go with the 545 low grain rounds. Now, this again does cut your damage range, cut your bullet velocity. However, it helps a lot with the recoil control. Now, you can use this gun, typical ADS or hip fire, tac stance. Kind of good in all three. I will show you that in a little bit. But this, again, you're trading off the range for some recoil control, but this is a short range build, so you're gonna kind of expect to do that. Next up, we have the SVA factory stock. This does cut into your movement speed, your recoil control some, but this helps with the tac stance, the hip fire spreads, sprint fire speed. If you want to go like true mobile, you could always go with no stock. I personally do not like the no stock. It kills your recoil control way too much. So for me, the SVA is a solid trade-off. And finally, we go with the Citadel grip for the rear grip. Again, recoil control, also a good boost to your ADS, as you can see up there. The ADS on this is pretty snappy. So that is it. Those are the 5 attachments. Now let's go check out the recoil. So as you can see right there with the hip fire, you do get a little bit of a spread, but it's still kind of centralized, as you can see right in, that area right there. It's pretty centralized. If we go tac stance, you gotta fight a little bit of a vertical recoil, but again, that's a pretty tight grouping. And then we go ADS up top here. And it's similar to the tac stance, it's a really tight grouping. Now this is the mid-range build. Citadel grip is the same. For the barrel, we go with the STV Precision. Gives you a little bit of added range, good recoil control. It is going to cut your ADS and your hip fire. We don't care about the hip fire, honestly. A little bit of a trade-off. This is not going to be as quick of a build as the short range, but it's going to be a little more controllable. Next up, for the underbarrel, we have the Edge 47. This is good for recoil. You do lose ADS. This is kind of a good trade-off. Other ones are going to start cutting movement speed or cut your ADS a little more. This is just kind of a good, like, little bit of help. This build is designed around, like, little bits of recoil control. That's why you see the bar is so high. Everything is going to add up. Now, for me, I put the slate reflector optic. Pretty much for this build, you just want to go with a simple optic, maybe out to a 2.5 if you're feeling like it. I personally wouldn't, only because this gun at further ranges does kind of start to get a little bouncy. So I prefer, you know, the slate reflector or the what do they call that one? The MK3. You know, something like that. Something pretty simple and clean. And now finally with the stock, I went with the main V6. This is crazy good for your recoil control. Again, you will lose some speed, some sprint to fire speed, but like this is not designed to, you know, move around the battlefield. This is more designed to pick a spot, you know, kind of hold a good mid-range, maybe hold a street or something like that. If you're looking for the movement, you go with the short range build. So as you can see, it's a pretty tight grouping. It does start to really kick off to the left there, but, you know, this build, it helps to really keep that vertical in check. And I mean, you know, it's a really simple burst, and if you go further out, see, it starts to get a little snappy and kind of go a little too high. So again, you don't want to go too far out with this gun. This is a good, you know, we're talking, you know, 30-ish meters maybe. Now, to make the mid-range build a little more ready for Warzone, by that I just mean, you know, you're suppressed. You're not really running around, setting off the minimap and everything. All I did was I took off the underbarrel and I put on the Shadow Strike. The Shadow Strike suppressor literally does nothing other than suppress your gun. Now, I'm not going to show you the recoil control. It is basically the same. You are losing a little bit because you don't have that underbarrel, but it is pretty much negligible. And that, folks, is the SVA. Now, this is just my build. You know, maybe you have found a longer range build for it. Maybe you found a good short range build that doesn't involve that suppressed barrel. This is just what I use. This Warzone build has been really good to me. Actually, if you give me a second, let me pull up my stats. It's my, oh my gosh, yeah. Amongst all the weapons that I've used, it has gotten me the most kills by a long shot. 1.5 KD for someone that's bad like me, that's pretty dang good. So it's treated me well. I want to show off what I have with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for the love on the Tech Eradicator video. If you like what you're seeing, please drop a like, drop a sub. That would be great. Yeah, I got a Pokemon video coming out later this week as well. So check that out if you are into Pokemon Scarlet Violet, Terra rating, all of that. Not this week's video, but the following week's video. I'm hoping to have a build to take on both Dialga and Palkia. I've got something in mind that's a little different than normal. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video.